welcome to Fisher Fitness. It's David and this is my girlfriend.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm also a coach at UFC Gym and I also got my master's in kinesiology, and today I'm going to be joining David to work on shoulder stability.
So this video today is going to be a addition and progression off of what we talked about with Simon in our previous video looking at spinal stability. We're going to be maintaining neutral spine and neutral lumbar thoracic position while we're doing a lot more shoulder movements, overhead and pressing, which is going to help you with your overhead press and your bench press if you have pain in those movements. The first exercise we're going to be looking at is going to be looking at a lot of trunk and spinal stability, core stability like we talked about in the previous video with Simon. Now we're going to be implementing that with an overhead press movement with a little more activation than we have done before. So we're going to set up with our feet first. You can do straight leg if you want to be a little more advanced, or you can bend your knees a little bit so your hamstring flexibility isn't an issue here. She's going to go straight leg because she has such flexible hamstrings and good hinge. So what she's going to do is her hips are up against the wall. Her back is going to be about an inch or so off the wall. She's going to engage her core, ribs are going to be down, just not up. She's going to go arms overhead, and she's going to try to get her hands and her elbows both touching the wall. This is going to be pretty hard, so if she breaks form, that's going to be okay. This is really progressive movement. So we're going to go up against the wall, try to keep your hands and elbows against the wall the whole time, as far as you can, and then back down. We're looking at down here, making sure her ribs aren't sticking out, back up. Nice. We're pushing out against that band the whole time, the way up and down. You can tell she's trying not to break any pain phases here. This is pretty hard. Go up as high as you can, back down. Again, her back is about an inch off the wall, core tight and engaged the whole time. It's a lot harder than it looks. So this is going to help warm up your shoulders, your thoracic spine, and your core for that overhead movement that you guys are going to be doing. Sucking it in. Core tight. Driving the hands back, elbows back, as high as you can. Woo. Did you feel this lighten up your mid-traps? If you don't feel this in your mid-traps and your serratus, you're definitely doing this movement wrong. So now we're going to be looking at exercise, maintaining that spinal stability as we talked about in the previous video. This is going to carry over more to a bench press because our arms are directly out in front of us. The other one was more for overhead prep. So Nicole is going to be here in a plank position. She's in a high plank with her hands on the ground, feet about shoulder width apart. What she's thinking about is driving into the ground with her hands. So her back is nice and flat here. There's no gap in between her shoulder blades. And she's thinking about turning her palms into the ground like so. And all I want her to do is try to keep all this tight in a plank position and go onto one hand, touch your shoulder with your other hand and come back down. What we're doing here is keeping everything tight in our core. So her ribs are down, nice and flat here, no arching. Just like we were doing the other day in those planks with Simon. Nice, slow, and controlled. You should feel this right in your armpit, in your serratus, pulling that shoulder blade across your rib cage. Nice, slow, controlled. We want as minimal body movement side to side as possible. If you need to make it a little easier, you can just bring your feet wider apart. The harder, it's going to be a lot harder the narrower you bring your feet in. So keep that in mind if you feel like your body is shifting a lot back and forth. So she's doing good. How are you feeling?
Amazing.
Good. Where are you feeling this?
Everywhere.
Everywhere? Good. That's what we want.
So now what we're going to do is focus more on an incline press. So it's not the same thing as a chest press, and we're going to make sure that that shoulder is staying nice and driven forward as he presses forward. There we go. So he's going to focus on keeping his core nice and engaged. Good. Tuck those ribs down. He's also activating that serratus, so keeping that shoulder pulled forward. He's going to control that motion all the way back as well. He's going to drive that hand forward again, keeping that shoulder nice and in front. Everything else activated. The shoulders aren't swaying back and forth. They're nice and parallel with the wall above as well as his hips.
So just recapping what we talked about today, we looked at a lot of spinal stability in our previous video. Now we're carrying that over to all of our shoulder movements. So we looked at overhead prep with spinal stability. We looked at incline pressing prep with shoulder stability and serratus activation. And we also looked at that plank position, doing the shoulder taps with the spinal stability and shoulder activation as well. So those are all going to help you have a more pain-free press because you're orientating, is that a word? We're gonna cut through that. Orienting and prioritizing your spine before anything else that you're moving in your shoulder. So that's going to help you have a lot more pain-free press. Again, if you guys want more shoulder tips and tricks, Nicole and I both have our Instagrams, David T. Fisher and
Nicole PT.
So
Can you Photoshop that to look really buff too?
I don't know if that's how it works. But make sure to follow us for more fitness and training tips. Our next video is going to be on hip stability, so tying everything together. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Okay, good, relax. You're shooken?
My name is Bye.